very serious people on this stage today. Agyeman, it's not a small boy. That's Simons. We look up to him. And you see the effect of your work, and in their case, as evidence, is that in your worst moments, a Bessa Simon song brings you back to sanity. Am I right? It may not be Bessa Simons, I'm using him as an example. I'm trying to let you see the value of your work. What Uncle T came to do here, the effect of his work here, this 2 minutes, to your spirit and character, is not something you can put a value to. And yet you're not prepared to pay $10 for him. And yet what he did for you is worth millions of dollars. And that's why in other jurisdictions, people get paid millions of dollars. So it's time for us to do a rethink. And that's why this project, becoming work ready, is important. You notice I stayed throughout to hear everybody. I'm enthralled by your questions, very deep questions. Questions that, in my humble opinion, show that there are a lot of serious minds amongst you. So the question is, what do we do with serious minds? That's the question. I'm not a professional performing arts person. I happen to be chairman of the National Theatre because of politics. I do politics. My party is in power. The president appoints a board. I get to be chairman. But I'm a backbench activist for the arts in general. And so because of that, I have old friends in the arts and have some very serious people I look up to. I can argue that the closest I've come to in the arts industry is, by the way, when I'm here, I'm home. I went to University Primary. At the University Primary, I acted. In fact, when they wanted an actor, they called me, the teachers, because I was always troublesome. University Primary. And then people have been talking about schools. They think they went to school. Achimota school. But when they finished and then they started asking me which school I went to, then they left. Because they knew I say Achimota. But you go to a place like Achimota School and you mobilize and do all kinds of things. The closest I can say I came to in being involved in performing arts was dancing in the dance competition. And then I was part of a band. I was a lead singer in a band. And then I go to the university. I realized that a bit of a personal story helps in making the point. That's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. Then I got to the university. I had the privilege of going to the university in New York. And within the circles that I was involved in, I was a political activist on campus. And one of the circles I was involved in decided that they wanted to do a play to portray things about being black. I ended up being the set designer. No experience, other than the fact that I did art in school, from secondary school to university. And I set design. But my point to you is this. In all of this, I stand here to try and propagate your interests as chairman of the board of National Theatre. For those of you who don't know, the National Theatre is an institution of the state created to seek your interests. I always use the analogy that if the performing arts were a ministry, it would be the National Theatre. That's why your dean is a member of the board. It doesn't matter which political party is in office, your school is always represented. So if we're interested in your well-being, then it means that a program like this is crucial. A lot of good things have been said here, so I'm going to cut it short, and I know we're all tired. I'm tired. But the truth is that good things have happened here this morning from this program. I've taken a few notes. Permit me to go through some of them. And I picked them from my own thoughts and from some of the discussions that have come out here. On matters of principle, to do with you going out there to find a job, eh? On matters of principle, You need to decide in your mind that you're going to be a hard-working person. So when there's a talk about Mr. Newman calling you early in the morning to go and practice, I don't know if I know Mr. Newman. That is hard work in the real world. So if you're being taught that here, then the testimonies that George and others gave are right on point for you. The question is, have you put a value to it yet? Because it will be demanded of you if you're going to be successful. I'm having a hard time finding hard-working young people. Truly. In my personal work, not even, National Theatre is not a full-time job for me. It's just when the board meets, or when they need my signature, or they want me to help in something. In my real work, hard-working people. So please, if you think that hard work is not the thing, the Lord is telling you what he's going through. That's hard work. That's hard work. When he has to walk, sleep at the bus station is hard work. Don't take it lightly. On the matter of what you're here for, your creativity. Being creative is not simply just, it is hard work. Because you see a chair, it's green, but you want people to notice the chair, so you decide in your mind that this chair is not going to be green. So what will it be? You've thrown yourself a challenge. What are you going to do to make that chair different? So that now everybody wants that chair instead of all the green chairs here. Creating something. He comes to show you a step. When he's done, don't you want to now see that, okay, I'm going to use Lloyd's step to make another step? It's hard work. Its creativity is a principle you must live by, and it guides you. Other things I've written: commitment, focus. Those are some of these words came out of some of the discussions here. Being adventurous, sacrifice. People don't know how to sacrifice to learn and earn. Sometimes you have to give up money in order to make a point about your life to yourself. Sometimes you want to walk and go and get something, a job done, just to prove to yourself that you can do it, and then probably prove to the world in the process. You need to sacrifice. These are things you do to prepare yourself for the work area. All of us in this place, everybody who has spoken, all of you, there's one thing that runs through everybody. Everybody. There's one demand you want: respect. Respect. But you see, are you giving it? It comes with work. When you show respect for your work, I'm looking at Uncle T, I'm saying, your reaction to him is because he gives you respect. The only reason you showed him the love you did is because he gives you respect. But you see, it's part of his work principle. So he's not just doing it to pretend. It even flows in how he was moving. You could tell. Are you giving it? Are you prepared for it in your work time? Now, there's some skills that you must develop. Human relations. The fact that you meet me today and we're chatting, it doesn't mean I'm disrespecting you. You need to be guarded and guided by how you deal with people. The fact that you're in a university and somebody isn't doesn't make you smarter than the person. Your human relations, they'll take you far, especially in the industry you're in, because it's an explorative industry. Non-stop exploration is what your industry calls for. But if you don't show respect, how are you going to learn? A Chinese person comes to Ghana and passes you through Accra and goes to some village and goes to live there and is digging gold. How are you going to learn about why that person has come there so that you know how to deal with that person? You have to respect, have an understanding and appreciation of how they deal things. It's crucial. Two things that people will tell you that they are not extraordinarily important, but these are things that I'd like you to take up. Writing and reading. Make it a skill. I can't find people to write for me. I'm sitting here looking at trying to set up a performing arts magazine for the National Theatre so that your works will not be hidden, so that you are motivated, so that you can be exposed, because we don't have that in the industry. We can't even find writers. The media. The media people are focused on the Shatawalis and the Saks and all those guys. I don't have a problem. I like that. But I'm talking about the performing arts industry. I haven't seen, today, let me use you small. Today till date, I haven't seen an article written about him since he won his award or anything. Why? Aren't you bothered? If he doesn't get attention and therefore acclamation and recognition in Ghana, you think when you are done you deserve it? If he, a pace setter, is having a difficult, isn't it your responsibility to fix it as you go along? You should learn to read and write. Read because you need to know what's going on about you. Write because you need to put down your thoughts about what you're doing so that somebody also benefits and you grow. Those skills are important. And you see, writing is not writing a book. I write. I have these books. Prosper talked about writing things down, and I also noticed what he noticed. And God bless all of you who are taking notes. You may not read them after today, but trust me, you've moved forward. I always at the beginning of every year, I find myself one notebook or the other. I write all kinds of funny stuff in it, including doodling. I just draw. Somebody saw a doodle I did 30 years ago. They wanted to turn it into a textile. So you need to write. I'm saying, I'm not a person make me poem. No, I'll wrap up quickly. I'm as tired as you are. It's not been a short day, but it has been a very good day. Now here you go. Why are you getting educated? Since we want an interaction, I'll ask one question. I'll take two answers. Why are you getting educated? Anybody want to take me up on this and answer? In 1-2 sentences. Are you afraid? Certainly you don't want to answer. Yes, ma'am. That's a tough woman. Please, show some. Why you don't want to clap? Show.
To be able to fit into every society and as a human being, you need to have a fair knowledge about everything around you and identify how you're going to fit and adapt. That is how I understand education.
Anybody else want to take an attempt at this? Why are you getting educated? You want to try?
In order for one to know the past, work on the present, and aim for a better future.
So you see, different angles to the same point. Knowledge. Different answers to the same point. Knowledge. It's important. So you should keep that in mind and use that to your advantage. I wrote something here, and the question that came about not knowing what to do, I think that was the most important question for me. And my answer is, you don't have to be what you study, yeah? But study what you want to be. So you can come to school and do accounting and yet end up being somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at least while you're doing what you're doing, do it well. It's important. Let's go straight to the performing arts industry. I keep making very public this point, that if the minister and the president saw it fit within our budgets, if they could find that money within our budget, tomorrow the National Theatre should be able to hire a minimum of 5,000 people, which means all of you could get jobs. You understand what I'm saying? If we could find it in our budget and make a claim from government, the National Theatre tomorrow should be able to hire a minimum of 5,000 people. And that's minimum. And that's because the National Theatre is a national body. And it's supposed to absorb folks like you. So that you go out there into the country and bring out what is rich about Ghana. I love the question about culture to or Charterhouse? Solid question. How many of us have, the men, how many of us have a piece of cloth that we can put on? That's not a funeral cloth. How many of us? Are you sure? Are you not raising your hand because you are looking around first? It's an important question. Think about it. It's a matter of culture. It's a matter of who you are. We're busy copying other people. Why aren't they copying us? And when they copy us, why is it that they use their initiative and not mention us? And yet when we do stuff, we have to take out a copyright acknowledgement of their work. Why is that? Why do we want to be somebody else? I call that 1844. Go and read about the bond of 1844 and you'll understand where we're going. Folks, what I'm trying to get at is that there are plenty things you must do to prepare yourself for the world out there. When I was a student, I did what you're doing, and it's the right thing to do, to explore what you will be facing when you go out there. The responses I came up with up until date, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a student, is that life is dynamic. Nothing is the same. All these answers we're giving you are almost academic, but the crucial part is that they're personal experiences, and so you must learn from them. And the most important thing of all, my humble opinion, is that you have to dream big for yourselves. You have to decide that if you chose the performing arts, you're going to be the biggest in that, in everything you do. The performing arts industry is short on administration. The performing arts industry is short on admin. Everybody wants to be on stage. What about the management of the stage? And the high, great possibilities that we should be able to offer this country and the world. The performing arts industry and the arts industry in general is short on marketing. It's a big problem. So it's why the first question I asked you solicited the answers that we got. We're not selling what we have well enough to make people feel proud enough to pay money for it and to come. Serious performances at the theater in Accra, and nobody shows up. Serious international standards. And let me use this last experience to wrap up, hoping that I haven't left anything that I want to say out. When I became board chairman, this was in 2018. Well, let me say this out of the way. I wrote it down. Professionalism comes with experience and open-mindedness. You don't suddenly become a professional. You learn the profession, you go into it, but it's the experiences based on your open-mindedness that will let somebody see you as a professional. In other words, if you're open-minded, you learn lessons. You're not worried about mistakes. You're busy making sure that you're improving. And then the last point, and then I tell my story and sit down. This matter of culture and westernization. Folks, if you try and be like an American, you haven't done anything. If you try and be like a Japanese, you haven't done anything. You leave yours and want to be somebody else. It doesn't work. What you want to do is make yours yours and let people be envious of it. Not envy in a bad way. It is the same good envy that makes a lot of us run to go to Europe and America and other places because we like what they're doing. Why aren't we making ours shine? So we'll be proud of it. And we're caught up in being westernized. That's something to think about. And so, in April of 2018, I had the privilege of going to Nigeria because it was World Theatre Day. And so the Nigerians had put together a program. And so they had invited the National Theatre. And therefore, my privilege to go with them. They had seminars at which we attended. We got to the seminar and you could see the depth of thought and processes there. Then it was time for the performance. And we took a team, a company from here, a mix of dance and drama, to go and perform The Marriage of Anansiwa, the musical, which was written by, I keep forgetting the gentleman's name, he's here. the Nigerians started the program. So they did their award ceremony, 30 minutes, almost an hour. Then they performed the play, about an hour and a half. Then it was our turn to perform the Marriage of Anansewa. Marriage of Anansewa musical is 2 hours. Now when you sat at any performance for 2 hours, you're already tired. Folks, it was not easy. From beginning to end, people were laughing, people were clapping, and there was a standing ovation. Ghanaians. You have to be proud of yours. I'm telling you have to be proud of yours. What you are learning here is not a joke. It is high quality. I've had the privilege of seeing places, they can't beat us. I'm telling you, they can't. I stayed in America for 5 years. I saw things. I'm telling you, they can't match us. That is why they keep coming here for things, folks. So you keep what you have, build on it, make it great, and be a part of it. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, shall we please put our hands together